Welcome back, everybody, to the Word Around the Ring podcast. This week is a very special episode as we are gearing up to watch WrestleMania 41 live from Las Vegas. My name is Big Rob, and I'll let my tag team partner reintroduce himself.
You could call me King Jess, and we're the only podcast willing to bet it all in Vegas this weekend.
But we can't make any bets on an empty stomach, Jess. And speaking of empty stomachs, ours will never be empty this week and all weeks moving forward, as we are proud to announce our new sponsor, Pizza Neo. Pizza Neo is a Las Vegas East Side Barrio pizza pop-up shop, which was founded by U.S. Navy and Army veteran Anthony Rivera in 2024. As a friendly and energetic pizza enthusiast, they combine old school Neapolitan techniques with modern high quality ingredients to make hella good pizza. They're open 5 days a week, Wednesday through Sunday, for dine-in, pickup, and they offer delivery and catering for visiting families, large groups, sports teams, and parties. There is no longer a need to go through the hassle of getting your family or large groups to commute to a busy restaurant at a specific time just to be told that you're being put on a waiting list when you can get the best pizza on the east side of Las Vegas prepped, baked, and served directly to you in the comfort of your home, Airbnb, or hotel. Please make sure to follow Neo Pizza's Instagram page at Pizza Neo Pizza to stay updated on their current menu selections, special events, and everything in between. Jumping into the WrestleMania weekend, I am excited finally for this show to happen. It feels like it's been a very long time. We've been waiting anxiously. And of course, I think we brought it up on last week's episode. But usually, WrestleMania is the first weekend of April. And this week, we find ourselves, I believe this is the third weekend of April. So we're pretty late in the game, but it's finally here. I'm looking forward to it. I know you're looking forward to it. The festivities in Las Vegas are getting started early. But this week's episode, very excited to just go through the predictions with you here. Jess, I'm excited to hear what you have. Maybe we're going to have some arguments here. We'll have to wait and see. But want to start off everything off with night one of WrestleMania. It's looking like a packed card to say the least. With the first singles match that I want to highlight. And it's a non-championship match, of course, between two of our favorite women on the roster at this moment, Jade Cargill versus Naomi. This has been a very interesting feud. I feel like it's picked up steam over the course of the last couple of weeks. Naomi's been on fire with her proceed with caution gimmick. You know, the caution tape. I think it's really gotten a lot of fans invested in her ever since she's returned to the WWE. I do think this has been the hottest she has been, and especially with the fans in terms of them caring about what she's doing, what's going on with her. She doesn't feel like a second fiddle character anymore or a tag partner to just Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Now she's, in the main antagonist in this storyline, which I've enjoyed over the course of the last couple weeks. Don't know if you've enjoyed it as much as I have, but curious to hear your thoughts on the winner between Jade Cargill and Naomi this Saturday. Who do you think will be taking this one home?
Yeah, honestly, I've definitely enjoyed the build up recently to this match. I feel like this was definitely one of those long storytelling type of situations where we had been with these ladies as a tag team, as maybe just a faction group for a very long time. And we saw, Jade go out for a while and there was a lot of confusion on, who could have attacked her and what could have actually happened. And we finally got all of that confirmed to us. And like I said last week, the bounce back for Naomi is just fucking incredible. She went from being this, I would say appreciated wrestler by some of the fans,
Mm-hmm.
maybe some of the more general crowd, the younger crowd, with the whole glow gimmick and her coming out with their bumping music and all that. But I feel like she's really turned a page and she's committed to going full heel now when I guess I would say it mattered the most, right? Because you are breaking this mini faction that they had of these three women together. You're now breaking it up, and you kind of need to
Mm-hmm.
give each person an importance, I guess, or an important role past the breakup. Jade, obviously, with her build and her talent, she'll go on chasing kind of like a smaller belt. Bianca's already in the big belt picture. And I'm excited to see what Naomi does, past Mania. I want to see her really ramp up this heel persona and just give us the Naomi that we know we could have got so many years ago, but we just sadly didn't. So for this one, I'm gonna stick with Naomi. I think Naomi has this in the bag, which makes me a little sad because Jay did just come back. But again, we don't need to give everyone that returns a comeback win. I feel like it'll be stronger
Mhm.
for Naomi to screw over a Jade Cargill at a WrestleMania to continue a storyline than it is to just give Jade Cargill that big victory at a Mania.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that this isn't just a one and done between these two women. You mentioned it; they were part of a faction last year at WrestleMania 40. They were facing Damage Control together: Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair. And now we are here. And I think it's great. I think I agree with you on the front that Naomi is winning. I do think she's gonna win this match, and it's ultimately because I see Jade Cargill getting her rematch and getting the victory in a few short months, maybe at Backlash. There has been rumors that they have the Evolution pay-per-view coming up, which is going to be an all women pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken. So all the matches are going to be involving only women, which will be interesting. I think they did it a few years ago and they're bringing it back. So I think maybe this culminates into a match there, of course. A few other pieces that will fall into the puzzle, but I do think Naomi here needs the victory the most. Jade Cargill winning would be nice, but her losing wouldn't bring down her stock. She's still a star, and of course, she's not going to take a clean loss here. I think Naomi wins, with a roll up, maybe some interference that we weren't expecting, but something will be taking place to aid Naomi because, of course, just visually, Jade Cargill should beat her ass. But I do think Naomi is going to walk away the winner here, and it's going to culminate in a couple, maybe a series of matches between these two women. But of course, I think at the end of the day, this is just a catalyst in the beginning of a bigger story, which is, I think, Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair. Somehow, some way, we're going to get there. This is going to play a role in it, and therefore, I do think Naomi is going to walk away as the winner here. So I guess we're both in agreement, if I am not mistaken. We both have Naomi walking away night one as the winner.
Yep.
Great. Another one that I am looking forward to hearing your thoughts on because I know you're excited. You love luchadors. You love them. You know you're a big fan of Penta. Know you're a big fan of Ray Phoenix. Hey, shout out to Ray Phoenix, by the way. He's been hooping. Listen, I first Friday's his first debut on Friday Night SmackDown, it was solid. It was first night, had some jitters, but the second time around, his match against Humberto on SmackDown last week, fantastic shit. This guy is nice. Ray Phoenix is nice as fuck, actually. I've already told you, I think he's better than his brother. It's been 2 weeks. I think he's better than Penta. Put him on my TV screen. Shit. Substitute him for that fucking Fatal Four Way. I'm cool with that. But before we get to all that, let me bring it back. Let me reel us back in. There is a match between two historic luchadors that I know you're looking forward to. I know you're looking forward to. We have Rey Mysterio, a Hall of Famer, a WWE Hall of Famer. Rey Mysterio going to be wrestling El Grande Americano this Saturday. I want to hear your thoughts on who do you think is going to win this match between these two historic luchadors.
Honestly, I see no reason for Ray to win this, and I know that sounds crazy because you look at Rey Mysterio and you go, "Well, he's obviously the bigger of the two." But I think the story being told with the Grande Americano is way bigger than anybody right now in the storyline in general. So I could see why, like in previous weeks, I said I had a problem with him, stripping away Dragon's Lee's mask. But I feel like all of that has culminated into telling the story that we're telling right now. He is going up against what we would consider WWE's luchador. For years and years, Ray has been the luchador. So now to have this, I don't know, semi disrespectful, kind of rude interpretation of a luchador, all messed up as an American, I feel like this is great. I feel like Like these two are definitely telling a story that WWE is good at telling. You know, it's something that's comical but also with a little bit of seriousness, and I think they're killing it. At the end of the day, though, I think that it does a lot more for Gunna Americano. Like I said last week, I feel like it'll be good if if he wins this, if he takes this win, and either he continues it or he right then and there strips off the mask and reveals that it is Chad Gable or whoever it's gonna end up being. But I think that the win here at WrestleMania on night one definitely deserves to go to El Americano. Ray can get his comeuppance later on down the road, but I don't think this is where Ray wins.
I hope that Triple H and the rest of the team making these decisions see it the same way you do, because I agree. I think Chad Gable, El Grande Americano, should win this match. And I don't care how he wins it. I just hope that he wins it. I think it's time that we give Chad Gable a big victory, an important victory, especially one that has to do with his story of being, this gimmick luchador. Um, I think what I would like to see, what I'm predicting is going to happen. I think Chad is going to win. I think we're going to find out that this whole time, of course, as the fans have speculated, as WWE Universe has believed over the last couple of weeks, that this individual posing as El Grande Americano is Chad Gable. I think that's going to finally reveal. He's finally going to reveal himself on Saturday. The way he's going to do it, I think he's going to beat Ray. I think he's gonna beat Ray, or something's gonna happen where he's getting credit for the victory, and then he's gonna be pissed that people are making a mockery of it, like, oh, El Grande Americano beat him. Chad's gonna be like, no, I beat him. He's gonna take his mask off or whatever, maybe in the middle of the ring. But I do think he needs this victory the most. He didn't win any of his big title matches against Sami Zayn or Gunther. They stopped his momentum against Otis as well. And finally, again, Chad is cooking here. They gave him an opportunity to work with something. And at the beginning, even you mentioned it at the beginning of this gimmick, when he took off Dragon Lee's mask, you were pissed. You
Hmm.
you hopped on this pod pretty fucking pissed. And
Yeah.
then a week later, you were like, "Oh no, I'm kind of rocking with this guy," and he got you to buy in. He got you to buy in, and so Chad Gable has been doing this for the course of the last 2 years, and I feel like every time as a fan we buy in, it gets pulled back, and so I don't want him to lose that trust with his fans, because I feel like he has a following, and the people are rooting for him, and I do think he's going to win here, and I hope he wins here. I think he's deserving of it. Rey Mysterio, Hall of Famer. He's already cemented in history. So you really don't even got to win here, bro. Just let El Grande Americano win. Let's continue this story. Let's see where it goes from here. Because I don't think this is over for him and the whole luchador thing. Maybe he goes on to face Penta, Ray Phoenix. Who knows? Who cares? I just want him to win this match specifically. And I hope that we get that here. If we don't, I will be pretty upset because I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of Chad losing. So please, God, please, let's walk away with a win for El Grande Americano. It seems here we are both 2 for 2 here with Naomi and El Grande Americano as both of our picks for those first two matches. But I think this is where things start to defer here. We have our first championship match of the card, the War Raiders versus the New Day. These teams have gone at it over the course of the last couple of weeks. I personally would have liked to seen the Street Profits here, but I'm cool with the New Day. I'm cool with the War Raiders. I'm looking forward to this match. Want to hear your thoughts on who you think is going to be taking this one home?
This match is definitely going to be a good match. I feel like out of the tag team matches, this will probably be the better one. This buildup has been kind of crazy, and it's been a journey for the New Day because they kind of went heel, and I would say that half the audience cared and half the audience just didn't give a shit. It's also maybe just a combination of like how much TV time they've given them because they really haven't given them, like a dedicated amount of TV time to kind of flesh out the storyline they have going with them. So I don't really know you know what will happen in this match. I do have like a
Mm,
prediction that maybe like a Biggie will kind of show up post match or something like that. but I don't know just because it has been some time, right? We don't know what the status of Big E is. We don't know what the status of Big E and the New Day is. We don't know if they're going to continue that or if we're just dropping that where it was and heel New Day is just where it's at. So I think that with the way that the New Day has progressed over the past couple of months and just their story in general, I would say that at the end of the night, they're walking away with the belts only because I would say that the World Raiders did their job. Triple H started this tag team inception that he wanted to start doing, and he's slowly been making moves in that direction. And the first one that he did was give it to a proper tag team, give the belts to a proper tag team that we know is solid at having the belts, and that was the War Raiders. So I feel like they came in, they did what they needed to do, and now it's kind of time to pass the torch. And I feel like who better than this new heel New Day, that people are still kind of here and there about, and what a better way to bring back, Big E or start some trouble with them if Big E returns, after they win and kind of ruins their celebration. So I think at the end of the night for night one for the World Tag Team Championships, I got the New Day winning on this one. But I want to hear your predictions. I know that you have a theory of what might happen on, so I'm excited to hear.
Yeah, I think the New Day here definitely right off of their heel turn, they were red hot. Like they were getting booed out the building. I forgot what city they were in where they didn't even get a word in following that heel turn with Big E when they finally broke up with him. I think it's died down since, of course. Again, you mentioned TV time. I feel like they've gotten solid segments and they've gotten a lot of matches over the course of the last couple of weeks as well. And I feel like they've done the best that they could, and but they were red hot with the Big E heel turn, and I think bringing him back here would again put them will send them up to the moon with this storyline. I think what's gonna happen here, I have the War Raiders winning, but only because I am predicting that Big E will return to cost his old teammates the match. I could see something along the lines of, they've had a 15-20 minute match. New Day and the War Raiders are going back and forth. And it seems like the New Day just can't get over the hump. They need a little bit of, not that they need a little bit extra help, but everything they're doing isn't working. And then you hear Big E song come out, Kofi and Xavier Woods act confused, like, what the hell is this guy doing here? Maybe they try to convince him to help them out during the match, like, hey, we're your old partners, etc., etc. And then Big E's gonna be conflicted, but then he's gonna be like, nah, fuck that. I remember what y'all did to me. Clothesline somebody. War Raiders gonna win the match, and we're gonna call it a day, and we move forward from there. Maybe we get a match with Big E versus Kofi Kingston, a Big E versus Xavier Woods. But I do think the War Raiders are going to win here only because I do think Big E makes a return here. I think they're saving a very special moments in a Big E return, and he doesn't necessarily have to wrestle after this pop. He can go come in, clothesline motherfucker two, and then move on. But I just think that there's a reason why this match is on this card. And no disrespect to the two teams, I think that the moment here is going to be special when Big E pops and he costs his old team the match. Maybe he joins them again. Who fucking knows? But I do think Big E is gonna have some sort of play this weekend. But this one is where we're gonna start deferring. So you have the New Day winning. I'll have the War Raiders. We will see what happens following post Mania. But another match that I'm excited to hear your thoughts, and well, actually, I'm pretty surprised at who you selected to win here. But we have a United States Championship match: LA Knights versus Jacob Fatu. Now, this is Jacob Fatu's WrestleMania debut. This is a pretty big deal. In his debut, he's getting a United States Championship match, which is pretty exciting. As a Jacob Fatu fan, I know you absolutely love you some Jacob Fatu. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think he's going over? Do you think he's going to be lifting that belt the same way he lifted it on this last week of Friday Night SmackDown after he attacked LA Knights? Who do you have winning this match here?
I mean, sadly, I don't know. No matter how much I want to see our future tribal chief, carry that gold at Mania, I just don't think it's the right time. I don't think we need to be, rushing someone as new as Jacob, even though he's not really that new, but he's still kind of like, new to the product. I don't think we need to be rushing a belt on him just yet. And I still do think that my comments from last week stand. I think that, the storyline being told between him and Solo, it will be what cost Jacob the title, whether that be Jake or Solo interfering in Jacob's match, or you know Jacob being distracted by something that Solo is doing on the outside. Somehow I feel like at the end of the night, Solo will be costing this match for Jacob, and that kind of sucks because I would, like I said, the fan of me would love to see Jacob hold gold at a mania, especially it being his like first mania. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't see LA Knight losing this, especially after all he did to just get it back, and that's where it worries me. If we do have Jacob win, then was everything that LA Knight just went through for nothing? I wouldn't want to. So sadly, yes, I think LA Knight. Well, not even sadly, I like LA Knight, so I think LA Knight will win at the end of the night. But I do think that later on down the road, Jacob is owed a rematch for that belt.
I was against this idea last week. I didn't want Solo to cost Jacob the match. But then this last episode of Friday Night SmackDown, we got a tease. We got a tease because Randy Orton doesn't have an opponent yet following Kevin Owens' injury. So Solo Sikoa came out during his promo. And he interrupted him. He said, "I don't care about you bitching and complaining that you don't have a match." They made a tag match between Tama Tonga, Solo Sikoa versus LA Knight and Randy Orton this last week. So now they've teased this potential surprise match between Solo Sikoa and Randy Orton. And I don't want that. I don't want to see that. I don't think the majority of people want to see that. And so therefore, if I don't want Solo in this match and he has to be involved in WrestleMania, the only thing I would want him to be involved in is costing Jacob Fatu this match. And I think realistically that is what's going to happen. Solo Sokoa only ever shows up to WrestleMania to really cost motherfuckers a match. He did it to Cody in 39. He tried to do it again to Cody at 40, but John Cena showed up. I think he's gonna try to do the same shit here to LA Knight, but he's gonna accidentally end up costing Jacob the match instead. And LA Knight's gonna walk away, and then we're gonna be left with Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu, maybe at Backlash and moving forward. But I do think LA Knight wins the match here. I think he walks away as the US champion. Who knows? I don't like that we're agreeing here. Don't like that we've been agreeing for so much. Now I'm getting nervous. I feel like we're definitely wrong in one of these, but I do think that LA Knights will be walking away as champion. But if Jacob Fatu wins here, I would be totally okay with that too. I'd be happy for him. I think it'd be an amazing Mania moment for him. His first title being captured in the WWE happening at WrestleMania would be a pretty big deal, and I would be ecstatic for him. But I do think with the bloodline situation, I just think that is going to play a role here, and ultimately cost his cousin the match. One match that many people weren't really looking forward to up until most recently. A match that I know you were excited about because you're a big advocate of Charlotte Flair. You're a big advocate of the Queen. You love you some Charlotte Flair, and I can respect and appreciate that. One of the four horsewomen, all power to her. She's done a great job during her earlier runs in her career, and as of recently, been a bit of a rocky road, some would say. Um, but things are starting to pick up. Things have started to really heat up between Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair over the course of the last 2 weeks. We saw that shoot promo that happened a few weeks ago. Following that promo, Nick Aldis announced that Charlotte Flair would be banned from SmackDown. Give her some time to cool off. But the following week, she didn't give a shit. She attacked Tiffany Stratton backstage while Tiffany was getting out of her car heading into the arena. She attacked her, caught on video cameras, mobile cameras by WWE television that were so eloquently placed and well timed. Um, and other fans, of course. So they did the whole backstage thing, kind of similar to what they did with Cody and Kevin Owens when they were doing that. Very similar to that situation there. And then later on Friday Night SmackDown, after Tiffany Stratton had faced Roxanne Perez, Charlotte again attacked her, and so that is the last we've seen of this feud, with Charlotte standing over Tiffany Stratton over the course of last week's episode, which excites me as someone who believes that Tiffany Stratton is going to win, because I do think she needs this win the most. And if they put this belt on Charlotte Flair after her winning the Royal Rumble, I don't know if the fans will be okay with that. I don't know if the people will accept that. I think people will be very, very angry. They will be upset. We saw the reaction she got out of Chicago. I think if you put this fucking belt on Charlotte Flair, you're gonna get that reaction across different cities. And it's not like it's not heel heat to where it's like, ooh, yeah, boo, fuck you, because you know you're an asshole. No, it's like, get her off my TV. I feel like that's where the fans are going, and I don't want to see that for Charlotte Flair. So I do think Tiffany needs this victory more, and it would bode well for her career. Beating Charlotte Flair in her first Mania match, if I'm not mistaken, would be fantastic. And we can move on and progress her story, and see who else she faces as the WWE Women's World Champion. But want to hear your thoughts on this situation. Know you're a big Charlotte Flair fan, so I'm curious to hear, who do you have walking out of WrestleMania as the WWE Women's Champion?
Yeah, I mean, despite my fandom for Charlotte, I think I'm with you. I think this is Tiffy's time. You know, not to hit you with the pun, but I think it is. I think it's time for her to beat Charlotte at Mania and just skyrocket to the moon from here. I Who she goes, if this is a one and done, who she faces after, I don't know yet. We'll get there when we get there, but I am excited for this. This whole thing has been kind of a weird mix of emotions from starting off with earlier in the year, Tiffy just teasing us, cashing in that briefcase, over and over again until she finally did it and she got the belt. And then Charlotte returning and not returning to the adoration that she thought she was going to get from the fans. And then ultimately, with the shoot promo where they went off the rails and got a little personal, which to my taste is perfectly fine. But I know that there's a lot of people that took some offense to it. It's just been a crazy ride. And then, like you said, she attacked her after being banned this week. She went to the parking lot and attacked her. So this has all been kind of like a crazy mixed emotion roller coaster of a storyline. But I see no reason for Charlotte to win this. I know that she's the queen and that the WWE loves her, and if it were up to them, which I mean ultimately is up to them, but if it were just up to them, they would be strapping this belt on Charlotte. But I feel like we have to have faith in them, and that they're going to do the right thing. They're going to keep it on Tiffy, because that's honestly that's the right thing. After, like you said, after the reaction that she got the first night, you don't want that reaction, especially at a Mania for her, because she's not going to be. We've seen it. She's not going to handle it right, and you don't want her to be looking like that out on the biggest show of the year. So I say Tiffy all the way. Like I said, what she does after this, I don't know, but I'm excited to see how she defends this belt.
Yeah, I'm curious to see who she faces after this match here against Charlotte, if she ends up winning. But again, man, I don't know, and I hope that Charlotte Flair doesn't win here. But shit, I wouldn't be surprised if she does. I would not be surprised if she walks away as the women's champion. I would not be at all. I know that they love her. This would make her 17 or 16. I don't even fucking know. But they would want to break the record books with Charlotte. And so I wouldn't be surprised if she wins, but I'm hoping that Tiffany Stratton walks out and it is Tiffy time at WrestleMania 41. Speaking of entrances, who has a better entrance in the game right now in the WWE? Who gets the crowd excited as he does? None other than Jay Main Event Uso. but it is just a nickname because he will not be main eventing WrestleMania 41. He's probably going to be opening the show against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. And we've debated, we've watched this promo over the course the last couple of weeks, this feud. It's progressed, it's gotten better. Gunther's picking steam up. Cut a phenomenal promo on Monday Night Raw, telling us he doesn't give a shit. He's gonna walk into WrestleMania. He's not afraid of nobody. He's gonna whip Jey Uso's ass, and he can't wait to tell his mom about how he beat Jey Uso's ass this last week. And I hope he does get to tell his mother that story. I hope he gets to share with his whole family how he whipped and beat the twin brothers, one on Monday Night Raw and one at WrestleMania 41. And ultimately, he breaks the heart of every kid wearing those Yee glasses, of everybody wearing a Jey Uso shirt, of all the fucking fans that have no rhythm of lifting and waving their hands. And I hope their heart breaks on Saturday as soon as the show starts. And I cannot wait to watch that. I will be rooting and I am hoping that Gunther walks out as the world heavyweight champion. Listen, listen, listen. That is my hope. That is my hope. But realistically, with the way this feud has played out, with Jay being built up the way that he has, with him winning the Intercontinental Championship belt earlier this year against Braun Breaker, we saw the pop that got. I think, unfortunately for Gunther, I do think that Jey Uso is going to win this match here. I think he walks away as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and I think he loses that shit the very next night. But I'm curious to hear. I'm curious to hear, who do you have winning this heavyweight championship bout? Our current champion Gunther or main event Jey Uso himself?
I said it last week. I don't think any amount of buildup can sway my decision on this. I still think Gunther's gonna beat the living shit out of Jay, and I really hope that happens because I think I've proven now, week by week, example after example, that I make a compelling case for the fact that it is just a nickname. He doesn't deserve that spot, and that's why he got fucking bumped off of the main event spot at WrestleMania. Because I do think that the WWE finally saw what we're seeing, and they're like, "Shit, we might have pulled this trigger a little too soon." So I don't, after, especially after what happened. Let's track it backtrack a little bit. And last week, I said that Jay came out there and he did what I wanted to do, but he did it kind of in a boring manner. And Gunther just sat there almost ready to fucking cry. But then this week he comes out and he's like, "Man, I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. I'm gonna beat the living shit out of him and I'm gonna tell my mom about my accomplishments." Where the fuck was that? Because that's what he should have done last week. And that only goes to prove that if he's already in that mentality, I don't see him losing. So at the end of, not even at the end of night one, at the start of night one, I want Gunther to just obliterate the Yeet Man to the point where, like you said, the fans in the fans in the stands are crying, and Gunther's just lifting up that belt at the end of the night, and we go from there. Because I think it was way too soon for this. This was just a Kofi Mania 2.0, and if they do give him that belt at Mania, if they give it to Jay, then this was Kofi Mania 2.0. And I hope, like you said, he loses it just the next night. Because there's no reason, in no world, does it make sense for Jay to lose so many times to Gunther and then out of nowhere beat him when all he did was win him the secure ticket to face Gunther at WrestleMania. He did the one thing he needed to do. He needed to get that undeniable "I want my match at Mania" versus Gunther because he knew there was no other fucking way he was going to get it. So he was not ready. Gunther's still rocking it with the fucking belt, so why take it off of him? Gunther all the way. Night one, beginning of the show.
I really hope that you're right. I hope that Gunther walks away as the champion still. But the whole defense for Triple H and why they made the decisions that they do has been because of revenue. And listen, Jey Uso has a hell of an entrance. And because so, that brother sells a lot of merch. And I can't imagine how much merch he would sell after he wins this match. And I think that they're just in the business of making money here, which is why he won the Royal Rumble. And which is why we got to where we got to with this specific match. Gunther said it himself on a couple interviews this week that I listened to, where he said that he thought he was going to be facing the likes of a Seth Rollins, a CM Punk, maybe. He didn't see himself facing a Jey Uso type figure at WrestleMania, but he's learned to appreciate it, and he's learned to appreciate the feud, and he's looking forward to the match. Of course, he's a good sport, he's a company man, but I do think Jey Uso is going to end up walking away as the champion here. Um, and I think it resets. It will allow Gunther to reset his sights on either the championship belt again or another feud that's important that we may be getting coming up. Who knows? But again, I hope that you're right. I hope that Gunther wins here because I would love for him to win. Start off night one somber as fuck. Have the fans in the arena pissed off. I think that shit would be really fucking funny. And I don't know. I hope. Listen, logically, Jey Uso is gonna win this match. Emotionally, I hope Gunther wins and he continues his reign as the world heavyweight champion. Speaking of championships, the main event of night one does not include a championship at all. This is just straight a a custody match for some individuals involved here. But the main event of night one is Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins. This one is a tough one. This one is a tough one because all three men have viable cases to winning this match. Paul Heyman has played a pivotal role here between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. And it's now seems like, Seth Rollins is buying into into Paul Heyman as well. And as of last week, because Seth Rollins didn't stomp Paul Heyman's head through the mat, he feels like Paul now owes him a favor for sparing his head. I would disagree with that logic, but sometimes they don't give a fuck about logic. This one is one of the toughest ones that when going through the list in terms of being able to predict who wins this match. Now, Roman Reigns lost WrestleMania 40. I think he's going to lose again. CM Punk has been on an absolute tear over the course of the last year. He's won every single fucking match. He even helped Roman Reigns beat the new bloodline at War Games. They had to call on him to help him out, to handle family business, even though he's not part of the family. So he's been on fire. We've seen him wrestle Seth, seen him beat Seth, and at the debut of Raw on Netflix. And I think because Seth Rollins has not won a big match at a WrestleMania, I feel like he always loses the important matches in the feuds, always putting other people over. I think this would be the perfect spot for him to win to mix things up. I think we get a Seth Rollins victory and a Paul Heyman alignment here, and I think CM Punk and Roman Reigns feel betrayed by Paul Heyman. Um, and I think it would do wonders for Seth's character progression moving forward. I would love to see it, and I think that Seth Rollins will be walking away as the winner of night one main event here. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on who you think is going to be walking away as the winner of Paul Heyman's custody.
This one's another crazy one just because it did unfold in such a wild way, If you would have asked me a couple weeks ago, I think I would have told you the same winner, but in like a different circumstance. I think I even said it on the pod. I think that the rage between Roman and Seth was going to eat them up, and that would, give Punk the win. But at this point, after everything else that has transpired, I'm not sure. I'm kind of a little bit up in the air on who would win. With that being said, I'm still going to keep my original winner just for that case. I think Punk wins this. I think that the whole point was to get Punk to main event a Mania, and even though this isn't, per se the cleanest way of getting him there, someone else's, main event was sacrificed was this, which hey, I'm not going to be mad at it. But someone else's main event was sacrificed for this. I feel like this is the win for Punk. I feel like at the end of it all, whether there is a Heyman, turn to Seth or something like that, I think at the end of it all, Punk still gets his main event win. Now, for your theory about, will Seth and Heyman, kind of join hands and go from Mania on. I don't know, dude. I just don't see it happening. It could be a cool shakeup. I wouldn't be mad at it at all. But I do. I just don't see it happening right now. Also, I'm not sure. I could be, completely blanking it, but I'm not sure what Seth's favor is yet. If they're even gonna fucking entertain that stupid ass idea. So, just out of like everything that transpired and has come to since my initial prediction, I just don't know what's happening at the end of the night. So I'm gonna stick with Punk. I think that this is Punk's win at the end of the night, his big main event win. Mm, but we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, CM Punk was lobbying for a WrestleMania main event, not a WrestleMania main event win. And I think he's going to get his dream fulfilled. He's going to get that main event spots. And he should thank his tribal chief. He should thank Roman Reigns for granting him that opportunity. Um, but I disagree. I think we finally get a moment where CM Punk doesn't have to fucking win everything, man. Like I'm cool. I like CM Punk. I like some of the CM Punk matches. But I think an L here wouldn't hurt his stock, wouldn't hurt Roman's stock. It would do more wonders for Seth's career and his character progression and what he has going on than it would for CM Punk and Roman Reigns. CM Punk and Roman are already established with or without this win here. So is Seth Rollins, but with where they currently stand, I think it would benefit Seth the most, and therefore I think Seth should win and will win at 41. And I do love the whole shtick that he had this last week, telling CM Punk and Roman Reigns that the reason why he needs to win this particular match is because if people like Roman Reigns or CM Punk win, the part timers, the industry is going to fail. But the industry needs someone like Seth Rollins to win, a workhorse, and I agree. I agree. I think that was perfectly spelled out by Seth Rollins. He did it a lot more eloquently and articulated it a lot better. But I agreed with what he had to say, and I think Seth is gonna walk away the victor here, and I'm gonna be looking forward to it. And listen, if Paul Heyman doesn't align himself with Seth moving forward beyond this match, that's cool with me too. But I do think Heyman said it best. Heyman said, "Listen, I'm not gonna turn my back on either Roman Reigns or CM Punk, but I think he's going to have to remove himself from choosing one or the other to not hurt either of their feelings. But this week on Monday Night Raw, we saw Roman dismiss Paul. We saw him push and shove his face, and he fell to the ground because he's pissed that he's decided to walk out with CM Punk. And I think Seth planted that seed on Paul with in Paul Heyman. He told him, he said, "Hey man, them two motherfuckers left you hanging." They left you hanging. Roman left you to die with his new bloodline, and CM Punk left you hanging for 10 years. You're telling me you're going to trust either of these fools? Nah, I think Paul is smarter than that. He's going to put two and two together. He's going to make a realization. He's always been an opportunist, and I think he's going to see an opportunity here to align himself with someone new who doesn't mistreat him as he's been mistreated by Roman in the bloodline, and find someone who he can trust more than he would trust a CM Punk following that 10-year hiatus. But I just think that Seth deserves this win, and I think it would bode well for his career moving forward. And I hope he walks out as the night one, a main event winner. But like you said, this one is a tricky one. You have CM Punk, I have Seth. Neither of us have Roman, which is interesting. because I feel like no one is really picking him to win either across the internet and what I've seen. But you can't count him out. He is the tribal chief, so he always has a shot. But I would bet on Seth Rollins. That's just me. That is just me. But that concludes the night one WrestleMania card and our predictions. From this card here, just wanted to ask, is there any particular match on night one that you are looking forward to the most?
Out of all of them, I would say looking forward to the most probably Rey Mysterio versus Grand Americano, just because I feel like that's going to be a really good and fun match. But if you were asking me, like, say, like sleeper match of night one, I would say Jade Cargill versus Naomi.
Okay. All right. The match that I think I'm looking forward to the most here. Bit of an easy answer, but I'm gonna say the main event. I'm gonna say
Okay.
the main event: Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. Just an easy pick. I'm looking forward to seeing who wins, what story comes out of it, because there's gonna be something crazy that happens. Always has to be some cinema when Roman is involved, when Paul is involved, and I think that's gonna be the case here. They haven't let us down in the big pay-per-views when it comes to the Bloodline or Roman. I don't see them starting at a WrestleMania, so this should be interesting, and I'm looking forward to the outcome and the moments to come from this particular match. In terms of matches that will steal the show for night one, I will agree with you on one thing. I am looking forward to, and I think that the match that will catch us by surprise is Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. I think Rey is gonna have one hell of a WrestleMania 41 match, knowing that it's probably his second, if not his second to last WrestleMania match. I think he'll announce his retirement and go on a similar tour to John Cena. So I think this would be his second to last match at WrestleMania, and I think they're gonna go out there and have a barn burner. And I'm looking forward. Anytime Chad steps into the ring, it's gonna be a fun match. It's gonna be a good match. So I'm looking forward to that one as well, and I think that one will steal the night one show. But that's going to be a fun one. Can't wait to see what predictions we got right and wrong. But the main event, the WrestleMania weekend, is not done there. Of course, there is a night two. So curious to hear your thoughts on night two of WrestleMania. We'll start off the card with a match that has yet to be officially announced, but we have already discussed it. Randy Orton has a mystery opponent for this WrestleMania, as of course Kevin Owens is injured, and unfortunately he had neck surgery. So wishing him, of course, a speedy recovery. Can't wait, and hopefully we do see him back on WWE television one day. But that, of course, leaves Randy Orton without opponent. He's already told Nick Aldis he doesn't care who it is, doesn't care how he makes it happen, just make the shit happen. Nick Aldis wasn't really appreciative of his words. He told Randy Orton, "Hey, you need to watch your mouth because I will get in this ring and I'll beat your ass." He didn't say that at all. He did not say that at all. There was a hint. There was a hint. There was a little bit of a hint. He said, "You may never know who might get in that ring with you, so you better watch your mouth." And we know Nick Aldis is a wrestler of his own. He hasn't, of course, wrestled in the WWE. Um, but I did like the tease that they had this last week. So I'm curious to hear who you have in mind as a potential mystery opponent for Randy Orton in this match here in night two.
This one's a little confusing just because I think I brought it up last week. It's so close to WrestleMania. There's like no lead up that we can have to this. So it really has to just be either a big name or someone that he's gonna squash. I would love it if it was all this. I feel like I said it before too. They gave an opportunity to someone, in the past in another company, to kind of right the wrong of his retirement match. And I feel like WWE wouldn't short all this of that either. So if we get him in the ring, if this is Aldis versus Randy, I don't necessarily need Aldis to win, but it would be a kind of a cool moment for him and just a cool match in general because we've said it before too. This isn't the first time that he's RKO'd Aldis. But in case that doesn't happen, the only other two people, because it's such short notice, the only other two people that I could picture are the two people that we know have signed and haven't made their re debut, I guess. in the WWE, and that would either be Aleister Black or Rusev. Aleister Black, we know, finally got released from AEW, and there's a small connection, or at least a name connection, in between Alistair and the Grande Americana stuff that's happening. But also, Rusev got released. He finally got released from his contract a couple weeks ago, and we know that he, was interested in making his return to WWE. So I could see either of those two making a comeback and maybe beating, Randy Orton. I don't necessarily think Randy Orton needs to win this match. If it's against one of those two, if it's against all this, I would say, let Randy Orton win that one. But it's up in the air right now. It's too confusing just because it is such a short lead up to WrestleMania. So it kind of leaves us with one, too many names to think about, or not enough, because there's just, who can it be? At this point, who can it be? So I want to get your thoughts. I want to know, do you have any wild predictions out there of who it could be? Do you have something a little bit more grounded? Let us know what you think.
Hey, I hope it's Nick Aldis, man. I think Nick Aldis would be a fun match, giving him the opportunity to step out of the general manager picture here, take the suit off, and get in the ring with Randy Orton would be fun. I think that that's a match also that is easy for, not easy, but once Randy Orton wins, no one's gonna think twice about it. It's gonna be a okay. I'm nervous about putting Aleister Black or Rusev in this match and making their returns to the WWE against Randy Orton because of the opponent that it is, of course, Randy Orton. Um, I just wouldn't want to put either of those guys up against Randy here. Um, I wouldn't want their stock to drop, and so therefore I just don't want them. I don't want them to be the mystery opponent if they're gonna take an L here. Oh, if they're gonna win, then sure, fuck it. But if the plan is for either of them to lose against Randy Orton, that is Rusev or Aleister Black, if they do return, just hang on to them. Let's debut them at the Raw after Mania, and we can move on from there. But I predict, and I think my theory is Nick Aldis. But I'm glad to hear we're both in agreement that we don't want Solo fucking Sokoa. We didn't even think about it against Randy. No disrespect to Solo. Listen, I fuck with Solo, I do. But just this match here against Randy Orton, not one that I want to see against Solo. I
I
much
think
rather
that's
would see
why I don't want
Nick
to see
Aldis.
Solo. It's because I do fuck with him. And I think you and me are under the same assumption. If he does go up against Randy Orton, this just doesn't vote well for
Yeah, no, it wouldn't bode well for him. I don't think it would. Yeah, I don't think it would benefit where he's at storyline wise at all. And he has the whole Jacob Fatu thing going for him. Let's just move on. Let's just keep you there. There's no need for you to get involved here. I appreciated the tag team match we got, the little red herring that they threw in there, but if it's Nick Aldis, I would love that for Nick. I would love that as a fan. I think it'd be a great little surprise there, and it'd be funny, and I think it'd be a great fun way to start night two. But a match that I am nervous about, a match that I'm nervous about, because they need to make the right decision here. Um, the Sin City street fights. Damian Priest, and then also, how many fucking street fights has Damian Priest been involved in? Against Drew McIntyre. We all know how I feel about Damian Priest. The motherfucker could wrestle. He could wrestle. The gimmick, not fucking with it. But before I let you know who I think is going to win, I want to hear your thoughts on who you think is going to walk out of Las Vegas. Who's going to walk out of this Sin City street fight as the winner between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre?
I think everybody pretty much knows at this point that this is the second match I'm like fully checked out on. I really just don't give a shit about who wins in this match. And I even text you while it was happening. I was like, "Is Damian Priest just gonna become insert Damian Priest into City Street Fight match always?" Because it seems like anytime they give this guy a big opportunity on a card, it's whatever city they're in, street fight. Like, is that the only match that he's requesting? Like, I don't understand what's happening here. But again, this, as a fan, I feel like this should be Drew's. I feel like Drew should win this. This should be his moment that he finally gets a comeuppance and possibly finally leads him into something better at the, in the second half of this year. But honestly, the way that they've made Priest kind of look over the past few weeks, I think they're gonna give it to Priest, and that kind of fucking blows. Not that I hate Priest. I think I'm with you. Like the talent's there. It's just the way that he portrays himself is not necessarily my favorite. So to just award him this one at Mania kind of fucking blows. But maybe the WWE will see it a different way. Maybe they'll give it to Drew McIntyre and he'll finally get one. But I just don't see it happening just over the simple fact that they have made Priest look strong over the couple weeks, and that makes me worried. So sadly, I got to say my pick for the street fight is the Sin City street fight is Priest, but I would love it if Drew finally got a win here.
Yeah, fuck all that. Drew McIntyre is gonna whip his ass. He is going to mop the floor of Las Vegas with Damian Priest. He should win here outright. It shouldn't even be close. This week, Drew McIntyre attacked Damian Priest. And it was fucking fantastic. He gouged his eyes, threw him into the steel steps. It was fantastic. I'm going to need that same energy. I'm gonna need Drew McIntyre to come out here and just whip his ass. I cannot wait. If Drew, fucking Christ, if Drew McIntyre loses this match, I don't know what I'd do. I do not know what I would do. I do not know what I would do. I would lose my fucking mind. There's no world in which Drew McIntyre should lose this match to Damian Priest. Because we know in 2 months, 3 months, Damian Priest is going to be thrown into another street fight. And again, insert the city's name before, and we know what the fuck is going to be happening. So, I'm just, I really do hope that this is it between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. He gets out of this feud, moves on to greener pastures. Let's put him in the championship picture. Let's put him up against whoever makes it out of that world heavyweight championship, or whoever makes it out of that world heavyweight championship match. Let's go ahead and give Drew McIntyre an opportunity there, especially if it's Jey Uso. Especially if it's Jey Uso. I'm gonna need Drew to take that fucking belt off on Monday Night Raw. But I swear to God, if Damian Priest wins this match, fuck. I cannot imagine. I don't even want to think about it. Don't even want to think about it. But a match that I am looking forward to watching, a match that you have some high stakes on, is the Intercontinental Championship Fatal
Mm.
4-Way match between Braun Breaker, Penta, Dominic Mysterio, and Finn Balor. I know you already bet the house. You signed over the deed. You have one individual who you think is going to win this match. I want you to tell our listeners right now who you decided to bet the house on here for this match.
Why you gotta call me out like that? What the? This match, I'm excited for this match. Just I feel like they did a phenomenal job putting this together with such little time that they did. You mentioned it last week. They announced this without even like a proper mention. They just flashed the decal. I think that's just because we as fans were already talking about it so much that they knew like, hey, they really want this, so let's just give it to them. Over the past couple weeks, we've gone over this match a couple times, and I've been on one side of the fence and the other. I want Braun to retain because I feel like he's a great champion that hasn't really done bad or given us a reason to take that belt off of him. I also want my boy Penta to win because it would be same thing as a Jacob Fatu would be a great moment for him at a WrestleMania, but the same situation. He's just too new. What's the point in rushing him to a belt? We got enough time. Let's take that a little slower. I know a lot of people have been, pitching out the idea that Dominic Mysterio is going to win, that he's finally due to a win. And I don't see that happening. That's like the big one that everybody goes like, this is what's going to happen. And I'm just like, I don't see it happening. And I know that even you, the past couple of weeks, was like, I've changed my mind to Dom. I just can't see it happening. If it happens, I wouldn't be mad, but I don't see it happening. And that finally just leaves us with Finn Balor. And this is the biggest problem I have with this match is that I don't think Finn Balor wins here. And that just continues to be bad for Finn Balor just because he needs a win. He's another one of these Drew McIntyres where like he cannot get a win. And I feel like he needs it, but I don't think that this is the match. You asked me who was my pick to out myself with our fans. The fan in me won on this one, and I wrote down Penta. I think, it would be really cool for Penta to fucking have this moment, even though it is a little too soon. I think this would be a sick moment for Penta. He is someone that's blown up, that's gotten the crowd behind him. His brother just got in here, so we know that you're waiting for them to tag team. They'll eventually do great things with each other, but I think that this would be a great start for a Penta run in the WWE. Will it happen? Probably not, but that's who I have. Let me hear your pick. Explain yourself. Let us know what your thoughts are going in for this match, because you got to know there's going to be a lot of shit happening in this match. So there's going to be a lot to look out for.
Definitely a lot to look out for. It's going to be a fun match. It's probably going to be the steal of the night here, between the Fatal Four Way. I am expecting a lot from these four men in this match. I think, though, the reason why I'm picking Dominic Mysterio is because the the most prominent story in between these four individuals is Dominic and Finn Balor, and Finn Balor getting outed, or getting kicked out of the Judgment Day. I think Finn is gonna lose here again, and this time I'm cool with him losing because it's gonna result in him having to fight on his own. I think he'll be probably a face following WrestleMania. I think Dominic and the Judgment Day are gonna help him and assist him in some sort of way here, and he's gonna ultimately win the match by pinning Finn Balor. Um, Braun doesn't lose the technic. Braun doesn't take the pin there. He does lose his championship, but he doesn't take the pin, and neither does Penta. I think those two individuals are put into this match to make it a lot more interesting, to make it compelling, and of course to include the Intercontinental Championship. You mentioned they've done a great job over the course of the last couple of weeks to putting this match together and building it up. They've done a fantastic job. But I think the most prominent story between all four is between Dominic and Finn, and I don't think Finn wins here. He doesn't necessarily need a title belt. He does need a win, but he doesn't need a title belt just yet. I think him having to fight the Judgment Day, him having to go through that betrayal, go through that breakup, go through that story would be fantastic for him as we head into the summer. And I think the catalyst in that will be Dom winning and taking and pinning Finn here, ultimately to win the IC title. Um, he doesn't have to carry the belt on for a long time, not at all. But I think him winning here would be great, a great moment, especially in Las Vegas, being that it's so close to his hometown of San Diego. Um, and I think that it's gonna be the case where Dominic Mysterio takes his victory here. And I'm looking forward to seeing you get upset about this shit. Cause Penta, I don't think Penta's winning at all. I don't think there's a world where he wins. I think Ray Phoenix would win this match before Penta
I
does.
hate you.
Um I really do. I think Braun, Finn, and Dom all will win this shit before Penta does. I can be completely fucking wrong. And on Sunday, we see him lift this belt up. I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be sick because you would be right. But it is what it is. But I do think Dominic is gonna walk away as the Intercontinental Champion. And I would love, but she is wrestling either later in the night or before. The match order hasn't been announced yet. But I would absolutely love if Liv Morgan were to come out and try to help Dom, and because of her interference, she accidentally takes a spear from Braun Breaker. I think that would be insane. I think that would be fucking sick. She would be the one to do it. If ever there was a WWE woman superstar to do it, I think she would be the one to be like, fuck it, I'll take a spear from Braun. Um, I think that'd be funny. I think it'd make great television. That's just me fantasy booking a spot though. Don't foresee it happening, but I think it would be absolutely funny and great for television, and the views that it would garner would be out of this world. But speaking of Liv Morgan, she of course is involved in a match of her own, in a tag match. Her and Raquel Rodriguez, the two members of the Judgment Day, our are our current WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. They will be facing a new tag team that has been put together between Bailey and Lyra Valkyria. Want to hear your thoughts on who do you think is going to be winning this match between these women here?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you your bathroom break. This has no reason to be on the fucking card except for the fact that Liv wanted to be on the card probably. I don't see Liv losing this, especially after how her match went last week, this week. Can't remember when that happened, but I don't see her losing this. I see her and Raquel just retaining this. I like Lyra as a solos competitor. I feel like she's doing a decent job with the IC belt down there. She's a talent. She's someone that's won me over the past couple months. I wasn't completely behind her. I guess maybe it was just the gimmick that was fucking with me, but seeing her for the past couple months in the ring, I've become a fan. I think that she's doing great with that IC belt, and I don't see why the fuck they would even, give her another belt, like another a tag belt at that. So this to me just seems like it's going to keep setting up for a Lyra versus Bailey feud after, which I'm not super excited about either. But on this night, there ain't no fucking way in hell, and I will be genuinely pissed. I know we've said, "Oh, you'll be pissed over this, you'll be pissed over that." Nothing on this card will piss me off more than seeing Liv lose her fucking tag belt. So I really hope that Liv just retains this. I don't see why you would even take it off of her. But I want to get your ideas or your thoughts. I know that you're a Bailey fan and you're a Lyra fan. So do you think they even have a chance at winning this?
Nah, I don't think they have a chance. I don't think I think they would have had a chance if Lyra didn't have that Intercontinental Championship on her. If she wasn't a champion currently, I would say they have a shot, but I don't see them double champing her up. I don't think they're also not a real tag team. They're a makeshift tag team. So them winning here just wouldn't make sense to me. Liv and Raquel have done a solid job over the course of the last couple of weeks defending the belts, serving as a tag team. They've been fun to watch. Raquel has been a lot better on television. She's had single matches against Lyra Valkyria a few weeks ago as well. That was pretty solid. So she's been picking it up. She's gotten a lot more comfortable. The fans are starting to ease up on her and buy into her and pairing her with Liv Morgan has done a lot for her in the Judgment Day, and I think that momentum is going to continue to carry on. And I think Liv and Raquel win here. I do think it's going to be a fun match. I think it's going to be a solid match. This is another surprise. Bailey and Io Sky had a fucking great match last year. Let's not be disrespectful, because that's motherfucker. I know you like Io Sky, but half that match also included Bailey,
All
and
that match
she
was
was a
EO.
big. Get the fuck out of here. That and she knows how to wrestle. She does it. She is. There have been better moments in her career, as of lately. She hasn't been to the top of her game, but I think here at WrestleMania, she's gonna show up. She's gonna be fantastic. Lyra, she's hasn't missed. She doesn't miss anytime she wrestles. Gonna be a banger of a match. I think both of them combined is gonna be fun. Live on television has been 5 stars for the course of the last fucking 2 years. I think that continues here. You said this match here, is it a WrestleMania worthy match? I don't know, but it's on the card. I'm cool with it. I'm rooting for Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. I think they're gonna win here. I think we both agree. But if they lose, I wouldn't be as upset as you would be. I would just be surprised because I would not see them double champing Lyra Valkyria just yet. But if they decide to go that route, fuck it. I wouldn't be mad at it. But I do think Liv and Raquel walk away as champs here. I do think that is the case. There's no way they lose. But who fucking knows? Who fucking knows? But speaking of another women's championship match, one that I know you're gonna be looking forward to. One that I know you said that you'd be sick if Liv Morgan loses. I know you would be a lot sicker if your girl loses this triple threat. Because we have the women's world championship match between Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. This one we talked about a lot actually over the course of the last couple episodes, but want to hear your finalized thoughts. I know you're a big Io Sky fan. I know you mentioned before that you think she's gonna win. I want to hear if you're doubling down on that bet. If you are betting again, you're betting the house. You're betting the house. I want to hear, and I want you to confirm with me if you think Io Sky is gonna be walking out as the women's world champion.
Yeah, you brought it up. I said this last week. I feel like I would be completely sick if Rhea won this. There's no world where Rhea should be winning this belt at Mania. You know, she did this. I will reiterate this again. She did this to herself. You know, again, talking in story, she did this to herself. She gave Io an opportunity that really she didn't need to be giving Io. She could have been chilling till Mania and fought Bianca one on one, but that's just not what happened. And to me personally, I feel like the story became a lot more interesting once she was kind of out of that picture. Once it was Io versus insert name here, I got kind of excited. And I was excited until, you know, we saw what happened. Rhea just interjected herself yet again in this fucking match through completely stupid means that have been pissing me off for the past couple weeks. All the face shoving, all the, you know, just mishandling of your champion inside the ring. It it's got to come to an end, and Io's just got to get her lick back. So at the end of the night, I really do hope that Io stands tall and she holds that belt up. But I wouldn't be mad if Bianca won either. Again, just off the fact that you know how they handled her and the whole Becky match a couple years ago. I feel like she deserves something just based off of that. So as long as one of those two wins and it's not Rhea Hogan, you know, holding up the belt at the end of the night, I'll be perfectly fine. But yeah, if Rhea fucking holds up that belt, I think I will be sick. I think I will be sick that day because that's just not how it should be. We shouldn't be handing her the fucking belt. I've said it the past couple weeks. We need to get her the fuck away from this belt as soon as this match is over.
Yeah, she needs to find herself in a feud that doesn't involve the championship belt. Um, to progress her and move her forward and then maybe in a couple months again, work her back into that title picture. But her chasing the title every single time over the course of the last year or so, it's literally just I need to get my title back. I need to get my title back. I need to get my title back. And I don't think she should win here. The story in this match has been really between Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. They've casted these two women have casted Io Sky to the side. I almost forgot that she's the fucking champion. They've shoved her face many times on WWE television. I found it super disrespectful when I saw it the first time, but clearly it's what they're going for. They're being dismissive of Io Sky, but she is not an individual you should be dismissive of. She can hold her own. She will hold her own. She's one of the best women's wrestler on the talent on the planet. And so I do think she's gonna walk away as the champion here, and still, following the match, once the match is over and it's concluded, if Bianca Belair wins, she's my second favorite here. I would hope that she would be the winner if it's not Io Sky, but I do think Io's gonna end up winning this one here. She's been the afterthought of this feud, and I think they've done that probably purposefully. And they're going to reward her with a big victory here over these two women. Bianca and Rhea, that's a feud that's going to take place. That's a match, a singles match that will happen, if not at SummerSlam, at next year's WrestleMania. That is a main event match in and of itself. So I think they're saving that. This feud will continue moving forward beyond this triple threat, but I think Io Sky does win the match here because realistically, neither Bianca Belair or Rhea Ripley need the belt. They don't need the belt. They've gotten themselves over without the belt. And so let's move them. Let's see what they can do without it. And then, later down the line, we can revisit. But I do think Io Sky is going to walk out as the champion here. And I cannot wait to see if she loses. I cannot wait to hear and see your reaction following that match. But one match that I cannot make my mind up on. I've been arguing back and forth with myself is the night 2 main event. As a John Cena fan, as a John Cena truther, as a motherfucker who absolutely loves John Cena, the greatest wrestler of all time. I do not care. Argue with your mother. Argue with your mother. I don't know. I do not know. I feel like John has to win. He has to win because what would have been the point of turning heel? Up until that point, you lost every single TV match over the course of the last fucking 6 years. I can't even remember. And so you decided that, you know what, it's my last year. I'm gonna retire. So let me align myself with The Rock. Let me turn my back on the fans. Let me see if that's the spark that I need to get over the hump, to get myself to the 17th title, to break Ric Flair's record. I would hope, I would hope that he wins this match. But then my concern is, what do we do with Cody? Where does Cody go from there? And the matches are lined up perfectly for Cena, especially following WrestleMania 41, because we know that Backlash is in St. Louis. They released the poster today with the Viper surrounding Randy Orton, and you know Randy Orton versus John Cena is gonna cook. That would cook. I don't see Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes taking place at Backlash. I feel like that's a match that they're gonna save for WrestleMania 42, I think. And and I think John has to win here. I think John has to win here, and he's gonna win because of that heel turn. I feel like if you don't fucking win, then what the fuck was the point of the heel turn? Um, But I don't know. I don't know because Cody could very easily win this too, and then John's whole redemption arc could move forward and he's going back to being a baby face. But then I feel like it'd be too quick. Why do we turn him heel just to turn him back before the summer or during the summer? Like, just so stupid to me. So I don't fucking know, man. I think a lot of decisions were made here that they didn't really fucking think about. And maybe I'm wrong. On paper, I have John Cena winning this match. I think he wins 17 here. I think that's the case. I want to hear your thoughts on this match. Do you think John Cena walks out as the champion here, or do you think Cody Rhodes retains and at the end of the night he is still our undisputed WWE champion?
If you go a few weeks back and you would hear that I was very adamant about the fact that John Cena didn't have to win at WrestleMania. You know, this was all before the heel turn, before everything else. I was like, we still have a whole year of John Cena that we need to fill out through. So I would imagine that he loses here, wins at Money in the Bank, and then, you know, we get a Money in the Bank Cena kind of teasing us that he's going to cash in for that 17th throughout the rest of his retirement tour. But with everything that has just, you know, come to and the storyline progressing the way it did, I don't see Cody winning tonight. Like, or that night. There's been so many times that I was like, well, there's no reason, you know, for John Cena to win. We still have this time with him. But at the end of the day, like you said, why the fuck did we turn him heel? Why did we do all this if it wasn't for him to actually win and potentially have that heel run? So I'm with you in the sentiment that I think that they backed themselves into a corner and they're kind of just trying to figure it out as they go. There's a lot of moving pieces to this storyline that I don't think that they were ready for. But I think that the way that we carry through just off of everything that they did is Cena holding up that belt at the end of the night. When does he lose it? I don't know. Who does he face post Mania? I don't know. I would imagine that the plan is still the same. You know, he wants to face the people that he wants to face before he retires. But then again, you brought it up. That where does that leave Cody? You know, is Cody gonna ask for his rematch right away? Is he going to go away for a while and come back stronger? We don't know. We don't know if The Rock and Travis Scott are going to show up at WrestleMania or if there's going to be another party that gets revealed. There's just too much up in the air for all of us to kind of give our direct, our final prediction for this. But I think that if I had to make one, I would have to go Cena on this night. Will I be mad? No. Like I said, I feel like if he wins, I'll cry because he won the 17th. If he loses, I'll cry because John Cena lost his last WrestleMania. But regardless, this match is going to be a fucking match, dude. This will be what we talk about the next couple weeks post WrestleMania.
100%. I'm concerned about where Cody goes following this match because the thing is, if he beats Cena, who is the next formidable opponent for him? Who who's equivalent or on the level of a John Cena to where I feel like, okay, we just had Cody beat Cena. Cody beats Cena following that heel turn. Like the motherfucker could really just go ahead and beat anybody. Um and I again, the St. Louis backlash being in St. Louis this year following Mania and Randy Orton being involved, I don't see Cody and Randy taking place at a Backlash. I don't. I think that's a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam card. That's a big four pay-per-view match. John Cena and Randy Orton makes sense to me. You can start off the summer of Cena, very similar to what they did to this with the summer of Punk when he went on his little heel run as a champion. I think if they do that, that would be interesting. And then maybe Cody comes back in a couple months, following this loss here. He regroups, comes back stronger, better. But again, that's not in Cody's like that's not something that Cody would do. And so I just don't know where they go beyond this match and this decision. And it's all because Cena's a fucking heel. Because if Cena wasn't a heel, then bro can take this L and then we can move on and we're still cheering for him. And and he has the rest of the summer, the rest of the year to finally capture that belt. But now I feel like because he's a heel, he has to win here. And if he doesn't win here, what the fuck was the point? What was the fucking point? Um, why turn him heel? Why do that to us as fans if he wasn't gonna win the championship at WrestleMania? And so therefore I think I, I feel like he has to win, but I would be completely I would be cool with Cody winning here. I I just don't know where they would go. I'm flabbergasted. I have no words as to where the fuck they go from here on either side. Cody losing, what happens to him? Where does he go moving forward? Who does he face? Cena winning, I see a picture, I see the road for him and the opponents he could face, but where does that leave Cody? And I just don't know. I think I've really looking back at it, man. This heel turn has given us one great promo between the two and Cena and Cody. And that was in London. Since then, Cody's really carried this feud by himself. He's gone out, he's done his thing. Cena cut a few promos here and there, but the majority, of course, again, Cody's done this for the last 3 years. He did it at 39, did it at 40, and now he's doing it again at 41, where he's carried the main event feud. And he's done a fantastic job. And I just don't know where they go from here. I really don't. I really don't know why they did this heel turn in the way that they did. Why The Rock needed to be involved. Why Travis Scott needed to be involved. Because now there's so many external variables that we have no idea what they're doing, where they're taking place. Will The Rock be at this year's WrestleMania? Will he have something to do with it? I don't fucking know. Um, but this is the night two main event match. We saw what occurred last year when they had Cena walk out, Undertaker walk out, Seth walk out. I can maybe see them doing something similar, not to that extent, but something is bound to happen. I do think The Rock is going. Rock always shows up when it's convenient to him, and the show with the most eyes on the product is, of course, WrestleMania. And the most eyes will be on the main event, and Rock is probably going to show up there. So curious to see what role he plays. I know I've rambled here. I do apologize, but I don't know. I have written down here my final prediction, I'm gonna go ahead and pick John Cena. But again, I just don't know where they go with the outcome of this match and this feud. I'm more curious to see what happens beyond this match. And it really, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about it too. Maybe I'm overthinking it here. Cause as a Cena fan, I really want the motherfucker to win and me be happy and be excited. But I feel like if he wins, then I'm concerned for my boy Cody. Where do we go from here? Um, but fuck all that. John Cena winning number 17. I'm gonna be cool with it. Let's celebrate. We'll deal with the repercussions after. We'll deal with all the story to come, the fallout post the mania. That's a problem for Monday. But on Sunday, if John Cena decides to raise his fucking hand with that belt, then I will be happy. The little kid in me, the little fan that started watching wrestling at 5, 6 years old will be fucking ecstatic. I will be celebrating, and I cannot wait. I am very much looking forward to this card. I can't wait to talk to you about it when we get together post Mania to discuss this. Um, but before we conclude this week's episode, just want to ask you a few questions regarding the match, regarding your excitement level for all of WrestleMania. You know, if you had to rate your level of excitement for this year's WrestleMania card on a scale of 1 to 5 pizzas from Pizza Neo, how many pizzas would you rate the excitement level for WrestleMania 41 on a scale of 1 to 5?
I don't think there's much that I'm not excited for, so I'm gonna give this a solid 4 out of 5 Pizza Neo pizzas, just because there's a lot to be excited for. There's a lot going on. Not only is it in my city where I live in, so I'm gonna get to enjoy all the festivities all week, but just in general, this card is solid. We have almost everybody that we've been seeing throughout the year, including some people that have just recently returned on this card. So it's an exciting card. I would say, like I said, 4 out of 5. What are you giving it? Is there something in particular that you're looking forward to seeing, throughout the weekend?
Yeah, I think what I'm mostly looking forward to this weekend in particular, I would say I'm looking forward to seeing the outcome of this CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns match. I'm curious to see what happens with Paul Heyman and where we go from here, where Seth Rollins' character is progressed and move forward. That's what I'm most curious about. In terms of excitement levels, I would say my excitement level for this WrestleMania 41 very similar to yours. I'd say maybe a 3.75, 3.5. I'm very excited for the main events. I cannot wait to see Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. Of course, the triple threat match between Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk. But just across the card, a few matches here that I just like the tag matches, the women's match, the War Raiders and New Day match. Just some of the matches that, yes, excited to see them on the card, but I feel like maybe implementing the Street Profits would have been nice, things of that nature. So those, I am excited for it, but I feel like some of these feuds may have missed the mark with the build up. But all in all, when we get to WrestleMania 41, it's going to be an exciting 2 night extravaganza. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fun to watch. Of course, we're going to be celebrating. We're going to be in Las Vegas to partake in some of the festivities. So I cannot wait. Um, but but I will say I am being disrespectful because we did not bring up one match that I am actually very much looking forward to, and it's AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. This one is one, the feud, the build up. I feel like Karrion Cross has done the majority of this build up for this fucking match. Um, so the buildup, some could say it's been non-existent, but we know whenever Logan Paul gets into the ring, it's going to be a fun match. So I have to ask, between Logan Paul and AJ Styles, who do you think is going to win this match at WrestleMania 41?
I can't believe we didn't talk about this. This completely went over my mind too. I think I'm going to stick with my decision that I think Logan Paul should at least win this so that he could have a phenomenal year. I do want to see him ramp it up, though. I did bring this up a couple weeks ago. I feel like he's a little stale on the mic. He's a little stale inside the ring when it comes to not being, performative, as in wrestling wise. wrestling in general, he's great. You know, he's definitely got something there that they can work with and build upon. But where he really needs work is, you know, getting that heel heat, being able to live in it, being able to make it exciting and interesting. Because right now he goes out there and sure he gets the booze, he gets some kind of heel heat, but it's not the kind of heel heat that you would want. You know, it's the you say it best, the kind of heel heat where it's shut the fuck up and get him off my screen. And we don't want that. Logan Paul is phenomenal, and I would really hope that he kind of hones into his, I would say his age, maybe some of the mannerisms that his age talks, and he uses it against some of the people in the company, some of the older people like an AJ Styles that won't know what the fuck he's talking about. You know, I feel like he needs to hone into his own type of heel before he could do anything big. But this can be a good match to start him off with. You know, win this match, talk your shit, move on, and have yourself a phenomenal year. At the end of the night, though, for WrestleMania, I do want Logan Paul to win. I want to know your thoughts. I know that you're a huge AJ Styles fan, so am I. But we've talked about this. AJ Styles is also on his own kind of retirement tour, from what we know. So this isn't necessarily a win he needs. So I'm excited to see. Do you think AJ Styles is walking away with the win, or do you think I'm right in the sense that Logan Paul deserves this win at WrestleMania?
I don't know if deserves is the right word. I think that the win would make sense for Logan Paul here. I think logically Logan Paul should probably win this match and is probably going to win this match here. Um it's going to be a hell of a match. Both these guys fantastic. Logan is a huge fucking spa monkey. So him and AJ are coming up with some crazy ideas. Both of them are high flyers, athletic as fuck. It's going to be a fun match. Logically, Logan Paul should win this match. I am not going to go with logic here. I have a sneaky suspicion that for some fucking reason I feel like AJ Styles is gonna walk away as the winner here. It's gonna and I think it's going to have to I think it's gonna go back into playing with the whole Karrion Cross thing because Karrion Cross has been his whole shtick with AJ Styles has been, hey, I need to get your confidence up. They had a match this week between the two of themselves, Karrion and AJ, and Karrion has been telling him like, hey, you need to win this match. You need to beat Logan Paul because he's not a real wrestler. And if you, one of the last of a dying breed, one of the most world-renowned independent wrestlers of our generation, who has come up from the ranks all throughout, doing the TNAs, the New Japans, making it to WWE. If Logan Paul can post a couple YouTube videos, learn how to wrestle, and beat you, what does that mean for the rest of us as professional wrestlers? That's carrying Cross's whole thing. And I think that's a fantastic point that he's made to AJ Styles. And it hasn't been as prominent on TV as I would have liked it to be. He's done a lot of promos online, on Twitter, on X, on Instagram, etc. And so you have to be really into the weeds to pay attention, to be appreciative of this Karrion Cross story and being intertwined in between this AJ and Logan Paul match. And I do think that AJ is going to walk away as the winner here. I think he's going to hit the phenomenal forearm, the Styles Clash on Logan Paul for the victory. It's going to be a really fun match. Logically, I can understand Logan should and probably win this match because it would just bode well for his career more than AJ. But I have a sneaky suspicion. I have a sneaky suspicion that AJ is going to walk away the winner here. So I'm going to pick AJ Styles. I'll let us defer here. You'll pick Logan. I'll pick AJ. We're just going to have to wait to see who walks out as the victor there. But I cannot wait. Um, and then I wanted to also ask, no, we asked about night one, but in totality between the two nights, night one and night two, is there a match here on this card that you see that will steal the show, that will have the fans talking about it post Mania, in your opinion, in between those two nights?
I brought it up earlier, but I really do think that Jade versus Naomi has the chance to steal this show. I feel like Naomi right now is standing tall, going heel, and I think she needs to prove a lot to a lot of people. And this is the perfect way to do it because Jade is coming back and she also has a lot to prove. You know, she wants to prove that she still has it and that um she's worth having this spot at Mania, especially with a lot of people, on social media saying, this isn't deserving of a spot at Mania. I think it is. I think that this will inevitably steal the show just because these two have some serious heat against each other, and we've seen it in the past with people like CM Punk and Rollins. When you have that real heat, it just makes that match a little bit better. So I do think that this will steal the match. I'm interested to see what your prediction is, what will steal the match, because I don't know if you have the same match as I do.
Yeah, no, in terms of the match that I think that will steal the show between the both nights, it's gonna have fans talking about it for weeks and months after. I have a sneaky suspicion. I just feel like that Rey Mysterio and Chad Gable match, apologies, that El Grande Americano match, it's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be a great match to watch between between both Rey Mysterio and Chad. We saw Chad wrestle Penta on his debut match. Fantastic. It was great, great quality shit. We've seen him wrestle Gunther. We've seen him wrestle Sammy. Chad does not know what a bad match looks like. And I don't think he's going to start here with Rey Mysterio. I think Rey's going to surprise us, reach into his bag of tricks here. And I think both of those guys are going to put on a hell of a show in Las Vegas. And I think that's going to be the one that I'm looking forward to the most. And I think it's going to catch us by surprise. I'm putting a lot of stock into that one. And I cannot wait to see what is to come for Chad Gable and El Grande Americano. It's going to be a fun match. I'm looking forward to it the most. But I hope you guys all grab your popcorn, grab your food, grab some pizza from Pizza Neo, grab a few drinks, grab a friend, enjoy the festivities, enjoy Friday Night SmackDown, the kickoff shows of WrestleMania Night 1 and WrestleMania Night 2. We're going to be excited to cover it, to record our review following this weekend's WrestleMania. I am excited. I know you are. We're both going to be in Las Vegas to celebrate. I cannot wait. And hopefully by the end of this weekend, as a John Cena fan, selfishly, hopefully we see John Cena win number 17, as you and I both have him penciled in to win the championship match and the night 2 main event. But with that, that concludes this week's episode of the Word Around the Ring podcast. Thank you all for listening. If you haven't already, please make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us across all of our social media platforms, including Instagram, X, and TikTok at the Word Around the Ring podcast. We will see you all next week for our WrestleMania review. Until then, have a good night and enjoy WrestleMania.